That's right, and passed out completely. I can tell you, darling, I was desperately worried.
But what was Seaweed doing at the top of the stairs?
Seaweed?
Didn't you tell me I'd slipped
Oh,
on
my
something?
darling, no. The rug. You slipped and fell on the rug.
Then you carried me back up to the bedroom.
Well, what else could I do? There's no phone here. The ferry had gone till tomorrow. Besides, you were breathing normally, and thank goodness, darling, sleeping very peacefully.
Yeah, that's one thing I remember. Sleeping for a long, long time.
Not that long. About half an hour, actually. And then, thank goodness, you awoke and seemed fully recovered.
And then they, George and Mary Tigglewell, arrived.
That's right, and they told you about your cousin's death and the will.
That's funny, I could swear I never met them until this morning.
Well, you did meet them, my darling. You just have to take my word for it.
Then what happened?
Well, I can only assume you were suffering from some sort of delayed concussion. That may be together with the shock of the news. Anyway, as soon as you started behaving irrationally, rushing off to dye your hair and such things, that's when I knew I had to adopt this plan.
Plan?
Yes, a cover-up plan.
That's what I don't understand, Max. Why? What are we covering up?
Well, you see, my darling, these people, they're a couple of opportunists, and I knew if they caught even the slightest hint of unusual behaviour, they'd bring an insanity suit.
Oh, I'm
No, darling. Darling, of course you're not, darling. But yesterday, you were acting like a person on drugs. I had to protect you, darling.
Oh, Max, you take such good care of me.
You're worth it, darling.
What?
Cornflakes! I was sat here, and a bowl of cornflakes come up and hit me in the face! Oh, Max, I'm not going bad, am I?
No. Maybe a temporary agony.
I suppose it may all come back to me sometime.
I wouldn't push it, darling. Come on, I'll take you upstairs to bed for a night.
Oh, I hope I don't have those dreams again.
What dreams?
It's all mixed up. I'm locked in that room up there!
Darling, that wasn't a dream. You were locked in.
Why?
Because I locked you in there. Well, I didn't want you falling down the stairs again, did I? Come on.
Oh.
Come on.
And what about the rowing?
Rowing?
Oh, Max! I was in a boat, Max! And the wall was all coming in!
Darling. Max is talking now. Do you really think I let you go out rowing all by yourself?
You're far too precious to me. Now, come on.
I saw her too!
Saw who?
Susie Stevens! It wasn't her. Her hair was different.
Darling, I can promise you, neither you nor I will ever see Susie Stevens again. Now, come on. Up in bed. There we go.
I'm sure I saw a spare towel out there. Ah, yes.
George! Have you got it, George?
Yes, dear. Rather think I have.
What are you doing? Give it here. George, I have a crashing headache. If you think I'm going to apply a passport to my brow, then you're sorely mistaken.
No, dear. Look at that. See there? Look.
Oh, George! I never, ever thought I would say this, but I'm almost proud of you.
We've got them, dear. We've got them by... Well, you know what we've got them by.
And now we'll turn the screw.
I think you're mixing your metaphors there, but I know what you mean.
What are you doing?
Doing what I know how to do best. Call him, dear.
Now?
While the iron's hot.
Mr. Mr. Harrington! Mr. Harrington!
Look, do you mind? You wake my wife.
Oh, come now, Ellie. I'm anywhere near loud enough to wake the dead.
What?
Would you come down here, please, Mr. Harrington? We have some things to discuss with you.
Look, come this way to get
This cannot wait another moment. It concerns millions of dollars. Now, down here, please. Come on. Chop, chop. Sit down. Come on.
Well?
We know what you're up to, Mr. Harrington.
Up to?
Mm-hmm.
That woman up there is not Janet Harrington. She's an imposter.
Look, I'm sorry. This isn't going to work. This is just a last-ditch attempt to get your hands on Jonathan's will.
I reiterate, that woman up there is an imposter.
I'm sorry. Look, I'd know my wife, wouldn't I? And even if I didn't, there are witnesses, documents.
Witnesses, like that writer fellow you bribed to perjure himself. Documents, like this.
Well, yes, Janet's passport.
Ah, that is what it says, Janet Harrington, but look closely. I draw your attention in particular to the photograph.
Well, you know what these passport photos are like.
I'm not referring to the likeness itself, but to the fact that, on close scrutiny, it is quite obvious this passport has been tampered with. This photograph has been substituted. Now, what honest reason could anyone have for doing that, Mr. Harrington? Can you offer no explanation? I think I can. Last night, in this very room, your wife...
Your real wife.
Lay dead, alongside those stairs.
Clearly the result of a terrible accident.
We found her body, Mr. Harrington.
We did, and we set off immediately to find you.
Did we?
Yes, George, immediately. But we got lost.
Lost? On an island this small?
Yes, George, we got lost. Stumbled through the darkness, oblivious to the dangers of wild goats.
Goats butt, you know. Many people mistakenly think they trample, but oh no, they butt.
Yes. Anyway, we finally came back full circle here, only to find the body was gone. Wasn't it, George?
Oh, quite definitely. And then, when you returned...
And introduced a complete stranger as your wife.
That was when it appeared not always as it seemed. But the fortuitous discovery of this passport has solved everything.
Particularly for me. I am now the only surviving claimant to the will. Indisputably.
All this over a passport.
If you wish, Mr. Harrington, we could submit this passport to the proper authorities. But they will carry out forensic tests. And then the truth, the whole truth, will be out.
What do you want?
Just sign this paper.
What is it?
A full admission of your duplicity. Now sign or face the consequences of a full inquiry. Now that I have this, neither you nor that woman up there will be pursuing any further claim.
George, you were not wonderful, actually.
Yes, dear. Rather think I was.
Yes, I'm surprised.
What
too.
next? Gentle stroll round the island?
Yes, why not?
Who knows? We may be tempted
Why
into
not?
buying it. Or would you prefer the south of France?
Yeah, probably.
Damn! It was so close. So close I almost touch it. And damn you two! Susie, you're alive. The ocean bed, my darling.
So we did it then? Oh yes, I remember. I helped you carry her out of here, didn't I?
That's right, and then you were supposed to come back here, and then when I came back and you weren't here, I got...
I did come back here, I remember. They were calling me. They were calling Janet Harrington. And then she hit me!
Who hit?
Mrs. Timberwell, she hit me over the head with a vase! Then I don't remember anything until he had his hands around my neck and I couldn't move or scream. And then there was an awful crack.
With your neck?
No, I think it was this. It's some kind of watch, isn't it?
Yes. GT. George, take a while.
Max, they tried to murder me.
Wonderful.
What?
That you survived, my darling.
You're not going to let me go away with this, are you, Max?
No, I'm going to make them pay.
Oh, how? It'll be a change of plan, won't it?
A slight change, yes.
Oh, how?
Show me that watch again. Yes, right, you hold on to that. That's vital evidence. Tell me, where were you sitting when he,
Oh, over here.
See? And he was standing behind you, like this?
Yes.
And then his hands were like this?
No, they were all tight and really good.
Like that?
Yeah.
And then you felt them tighten?
Yes.
I'm sorry, darling. I loved you, I really did. You have to understand. There's too much money here. Darling! Darling! No, keep that on, darling. The light. Darling, I've looked up concussion in our medical dictionary, and apparently what you need is plenty of fluids, so I've got you a drink, and lots of rest in the darkness, okay? So you drink that, and then go to sleep, darling. I'll be able to check you in a little bit.
Yes, but that particular one means so much to me.
Oh, very well, we'll have a look for it.